Hello, Shyboy616 here, and welcome back to another episode of Sitdown Sunday. I actually watched a lot of movies this week, so let's try to get through this pretty quickly. Last Sunday, I watched the Eli Roth film, A House with a Clock in Its Walls. I was back and forth on whether or not I should even bother getting this movie to watch it. That was because it just looked like some kid's movie. I saw a trailer that kind of lame. But then I realized it was Eli Roth, and I actually do like Eli Roth's movies. I haven't watched too many of his. I've watched Hustle 1 and 2, The Green Inferno, and the Death Wish remake that he did. I saw some things about parents saying like they were giving this negative reviews because it was too scary for their kids. So to quickly summarize the plot. This kid, his parents dies and he goes to live with his uncle who he finds out is a warlock and he starts learning about this magical life or whatever, right? So he starts learning magic himself, accidentally raises someone from the dead, and that's where the real like story really kicks in. Even though it takes a while to get to that. Overall, the movie, like, I expected like Goosebumps level of creepiness, but from what the people that hate it were saying, but no, it's really no scarier than anything like that or like any cartoons Halloween special. There is part with a Jack Black baby that was pretty freaky, so I guess there was a little bit there. I couldn't really hate this movie, but it is a good like entry level horror for like younger audiences, so I think it's good for that. So that's why I give it a 6 out of 10. It's not that awful. Come on. All right, Monday. Watched a ton of stuff that day. So because it's close to Christmas, we started watching Christmas movies already. Sadly, uh, we have Daddy's Home 2, which is a Christmas movie, but I couldn't remember the first one, so I decided to rewatch that first. I didn't plan on the same day watching both of them. First movie, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg. We have dad versus stepdad trying to win the love of their kids. What the hell ever. Oh, honestly, if you know Will Ferrell's comedy, like his type of humor, why would you bother watching it if you don't like it? I will give that he doesn't just play like man child the whole time. He does play like dumb, goofy stepdads trying too hard, but he's still likable in a sense. There's certain parts of the story, like why there's so much back and forth between the dad and stepdad. Really, the mom should have stepped in, but clearly it's never her fault for anything. It's a dumb comedy. It doesn't really go anywhere the other ones have, especially by these people, so it gets a 6. I don't hate it. I would rewatch it again, but there are definitely its issues. I could see why anyone would hate this movie. It can be stupid, but I still like parts of it, and I left. Daddy's home too, so now they're one big happy family here. But this time the granddads are coming for Christmas. They all end up going to the cabin to stay together, and that's where everything happens. We got Mel Gibson, John Lithgow. Apparently Mel Gibson won them a Razzie for this, or worst, like, supporting character or something. I don't know why. I guess Mel Gibson's just one of the new guys that pick on, but really, the movie's not even that bad. Like, come on, it's a stupid Christmas comedy. It's not terrible or anything. I enjoy it, especially as a Christmas movie. I watch them every year, rewatching the same ones. And this one's definitely up there for me. So I actually give this a 7 over the 6 that I gave the first movie. Nothing stupid goes on with the storyline there is with the first one, so I don't have that complaint with it. And overall, it's just a fun Christmas movie to watch each year. And then that night, some more Clint Eastwood. Absolute power. This one is about Clint Eastwood playing a thief, I guess like a jewel thief or whatever. He breaks into a rich person's house to steal their stuff, but then while he's there, he catches the wife with the president of the United States. The president starts assaulting the woman, and then the woman fights back, getting the upper hand. So the president shouts for help. Secret Service come in, shoot her, and the robber witnessed the whole thing. So it's about a chase between this guy and the presidency trying to take him down. It's pretty interesting. I was actually surprised by this movie. Clint Eastwood, even though he was already in his 60s at this point, I believe, he does a good job at actually giving himself or getting different roles anyways, even when he's directing. He does a really good job at both. If you're a fan of Clint Eastwood and just thrillers in general, I'd recommend it. I give it a 7 out of 10. Last movie from Monday night, Muay Thai Giant. This is another one of those Thai action movies, except this one was a little different. So this one's about this guy, but it's this big white dude, like huge. So he's very big compared to everyone else, and he's the Muay Thai Giant, except he doesn't really do any Muay Thai. I think the original title is something different. It's something about the dish somtum. I hope I said that right. It's a Thai dish that's supposed to be really spicy. So what happens is when this guy eats the somtum, it puts him in this fit of rage where he just goes around destroying everything. Later on, I guess he learned how to control it or something, so then he starts actually fighting with it. So the reason he's in Thailand is he won a vacation there, but then while he's there, gets drunk, drugged, or whatever, and then everything is stolen from him, and so he's trying to get this back, and these two girls help him out. One of them being a Muay Thai champion. It's more of a family comedy than some of the other Thai action movies. Even though it's still got the R rating, it's really not more violent or even as violent as some of the other ones. It's very enjoyable. It's not very well made, in all honesty, but it was still fun and worth a watch if you're into these sort of martial arts movies. I give Muay Thai Giant a 6 out of 10. Not the best, but it's definitely not awful, at least in my opinion. Tuesday night, there were two movies. First one being Sin City. Now, Sin City, I always knew was very stylized. The action is supposed to be gruesome, but it's not too bad because the stylization. I didn't know much about the source material being based off of a comic or graphic novel, whichever. I kind of like Robert Rodriguez. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of his, like some other directors in the same caliber or like group as him, I guess. But he has interested me enough that I want to keep watching some of his movies. Sin City, however, I was a little disappointed. I was never really drawn in as much as I expected to be. The action was pretty cool, I guess. That's probably the main point for me. And the way it looked was very interesting and it was cool to look at. So I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10. I'm not going to bother with the sequel. And then the next movie for that night, The Last Dragon. Now, this was a very interesting movie. Take a Bruce Lee movie, put some Motown in it, and that's what you got. That's The Last Dragon. It's a very goofy kung fu movie. It's definitely a parody of Bruce Lee and his movies. Like, they even have scenes from Enter the Dragon in there. Fist of Fury, Chinese Connection. It knew what it was trying to be, and I feel like it did okay. It's nowhere near being a great movie. Not even one of the better, like, martial arts movies. It was still enjoyable, interesting soundtrack, so I had to give it a 6 out of 10 as well. So Wednesday, the first movie I watched was Vengeance of an Assassin. This was Thai director Hana Ritikara. I hope I said that right. I really do. I keep saying it misspelled or whatever in different places, so I really don't know which one's supposed to be correct. So I hope I'm saying it right. This was actually his last movie. Now, I didn't even know that he was dead until I saw this. I go on IMDb, it doesn't even have a birth year for him or anything. But I have enjoyed his movies that I've seen so far. This one's about two brothers whose parents were killed and now they live with their uncle. One of them ends up going through the life of being an assassin, something his uncle is trying to keep them out of. And he ends up being quite good at his job. They end up having to protect this girl who's the daughter of some politician or something. Then as they find out more through these assassin jobs, what really happened to their parents, and so that's where it finally becomes vengeance for everyone. The action was pretty cool in this movie, even though some people complain. I hate when people complain about CG. You don't know shit if you complain about CG. I'm sorry. Not many people, especially in foreign countries, they don't have enough of the time or people to really get good CGI. It's a kind of a hard thing to master when you don't really know what you're doing. No one out of the US has really been able to master that, I feel. Even with how much some other countries work with technology, I highly doubt Thailand is one of those recognized for their technical advances, right? Picking on the CG is always just stupid to me. I don't know, I hate people like that. It is obvious, but it's nowhere near as bad as some of the other ones, and I thought it looks fun. The action kind of actually reminded me of stuff like John Wick and Die Hard, so I really liked it for that. It's also got the star from the film Born to Fight, which I also really like the action in that too, and you can definitely see it, especially with the opening of this weird like soccer battle. It's pretty cool. So I give Vengeance of an Assassin an 8 out of 10. Some people were saying the script wasn't very good. I felt that it did fine. It didn't need to be this great story. It worked. It didn't distract me. It didn't confuse me. And then the action will tie it all together. So I really liked it for that. Next up, Drunken Master 2, or The Legend of Drunken Master, is one of Jackie Chan's best movies. I heard a lot about it before going in, like seeing that's greatest action comedy of all time, whatever. I like Jackie Chan, so I was totally down for this. I was a little let down by the first movie, but I wanted to see the second one, so that's the one that was always praised so much. If you had watched the first movie, you can already tell from number 2, it has way better production value. It's written a lot better too. Like, there's more of a story instead of things that are just happening. So what's happening in this one is that Jackie Chan is now very well known for his drunken boxing, and then while there, they find out that some of the British, I don't know if they're supposed to be like the leaders or whatever, are taking artifacts from the Chinese to send overseas, put in the museums, sell them, whatever. But it takes a while for these storylines to come together of the Drunken Master crossing these guys. When it does finally come together, it works. The humor is definitely not typical if you're only watching like American movies, so expect that. Some of it is slapstick, so it's easy to get into though. The action scenes are very fun, very cool to look at, very well done. You can see that these guys are actually getting pretty beat up during it. I actually ended up giving this movie an 8 out of 10 as well. I really like martial arts movies, I really like Jackie Chan, and this is definitely one of his best films that I've seen so far. Lastly, Kingdom of Heaven. Is it Ridley Scott? We watched the director's cut, so I was reading that was the better cut between that and the theatrical. I can't imagine liking either cut very much. I don't know, I don't want to call it slow, but I'm bored most of the time, but everything looks good and the acting is good too, but I don't know, there's just nothing really pulling me into it. The action sequences, even though I was waiting for them and everything, when they finally happened, I was like, oh, I should have just watched Lord of the Rings. So I don't really want to get into it much, but it takes place during the Crusades. Orlando Bloom plays this guy who becomes a knight and defends the city of Jerusalem. I give it a 5 out of 10. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one. Thursday, I watched a very interesting movie, Anna and the Apocalypse. This was advertised as a Christmas zombie musical. Very weird combination. They could have been a Christmas zombie movie or a zombie musical, but no, they decided to put all three together. It starts off with a lot of promise. So it takes place in a school. You follow the girl Anna, who's a student there. Her dad's the janitor or something. I don't remember his actual job title or anything. You have the asshole principal, the friends or whatever. Yeah, pretty basic setup of characters. This music in this is actually good, and I'll give them that they actually got people that could sing. So that was very nice as well. The Christmas look, they got it right. The zombie violence when it was there was actually pretty good. My only disappointment was it wasn't exactly great, and there were parts that they should have had songs that there weren't any, which was weird because they were really good at writing the songs. I just feel like they weren't very good at implementing them to the zombie bit. At times, not even the Christmas bit. Like, they would sing, but it wouldn't be Christmas, wouldn't be zombies, so they just stuck music in this zombie Christmas movie, is how I felt about it. It had so much promise, had a really strong start, I feel, and it definitely had its highlights, so if you're interested, go watch it. Overall, I have to give it a 6 out of 10. I really wish I could have rated it higher. If you want a really good zombie comedy, Shaun of the Dead, that's the one to go check out. If you haven't seen that for some reason, you're messing up. Go watch that. Friday, I watched Little Monsters. Not that one. The one on Hulu, the zombie comedy. I just felt like watching zombie movies. I honestly don't have too much to say about this. This was another one where it had a lot of promise to it. So it has that lady that was in Us. I can't think. I always forget her name. I really should. Like, just look up the movies when I do this. So if you recognize her, she's on the poster and everything. And what was weird, when the movie starts, you don't see her for quite a bit. You actually get introduced to the other character. If you watch the trailers that I saw, you wouldn't even know this dude is supposed to be a main character. They have this loser musician, a kindergarten teacher, and a TV show personality for kids. They go to this petting zoo, which just so happens to be next to a U.S. Army base where they're doing some experiments they shouldn't be doing in a country they don't belong. And then the zombies break out, attack the place, and they have to lock the kindergarten class into this gift shop to survive. My problem is, I hate comedies where your one joke is you're swearing in front of kids or making the kids swear. I was happy they didn't do too much with the kids, like making them trying to be more adult or something like that. But a lot of the humor is just, I'm saying the F word every other sentence. There were some funny jokes, some good zombie bits, but it wasn't the best thing. Towards the end, one of the kids ends up saving the day. I thought that part was really fun. It doesn't break any new ground like you feel like it could have. And it, once again, like, the zombie comedy to watch would be Shaun of the Dead. I'd rather have been watching that. It was a little disappointing, so I give it a very generous 6 out of 10. For the moments I did like, it was alright. And then later that night, I watched The Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson. So I have not watched any of this dude's movies until this one, so I had no idea what to expect. Going in, I knew he was very well known for the way he would compose his shots. And looking at it, I can see why. It looked really nice. It was a very good looking movie. A lot of good talent, very interesting story. So it's at this hotel during, I guess the idea is historical fiction based around World War II or something like that, or something around the same time period anyways. So you see this guy going into jail, whatever, breaking out during this crazy time, all because older woman that's there is hotel of his friend died, and the guy owns the hotel, I forgot to say that. And then he is given a lot of this stuff instead of it going to her family, which I'm guessing she hated. Pretty fun movie. It's very strange. I'm trying to not say too much about it because I feel like it's one of those where it's more fun if you don't know what's gonna happen. I like going into movies not knowing anything. That's why when spoilers happen, I'm just kind of like waiting for it, and that can ruin the first viewing for a lot of movies. So going into, I did not really know what to expect, and I ended up really enjoying it. It was funny, interesting, thrilling. I actually really liked it, giving this movie an 8 out of 10. As you can see, I didn't really watch many bad movies this week. You know, I only gave one of them 5, so one bad movie. So this was a pretty good week, honestly, movie-wise. And that's it. So once again, if you have any other movies you want me to check out, just leave that in the comments, and I'll be back next week to do this again. So, bye!
If you enjoyed what you saw, leave a like, subscribe, and share the video. Don't forget to check out the links in my description so you can keep up with me everywhere else I'm at. I've been Shyboy 616. You've been wonderful. I'll see you next time.